Okay. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Welcome to Black Marriage and Family with Dr. Ron, the mentor, educator, therapist, and friends. Um, this is the new collaboration that I established to really bring more light and understanding to Black marriage and family therapy. Um, and a part of it has to do with the idea that people all the time, presently today, are going out and saying, hey, I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to therapy. I'm about to get involved with therapy. People telling people they need to go to therapy, they need to be in therapy. And you're seeing so much of that. One of the big aspects of this is, as a therapist, I think it's my duty to not only just go out and make money by being a therapist, but also go out and inform people on what it means, and talk about topics in the system-based work that I do. So uh, it is. This is a new work in progress, and it's kind of like up in the air what it will be. But you know, I'm hoping that people who will participate and be involved can, more than anything, um, just get involved. So I was actually supposed to start about 7 o'clock. I got a call from one of my line brothers who brought a very interesting topic to me about something that's dear to me, um, fatherhood, fatherhood mentoring that we have in our places. And what that then said to me, I kind of was like, oh, well, while we having this phone call and this, come on the line and let me go ahead and put you in connection. Let's have that conversation right here on the platform. I mean, and hash some of it out because we going to talk for probably about 30 minutes, to 30 minutes to an hour. So I might as well get you to come on here and let's talk about this. Me and you just talk about it as it is right now. And so he said, cool. So I'm waiting for him to get himself together and try to get on. And then we gonna rock the ship. But until then, I just, people may know and they may have seen, it used to be every Thursday back in the day, and that was through Sisters for Sisters. Um, this is going to be a little bit different because tonight I was going to kind of just start introducing therapy models to the average person. I mean, this is this is really in a big point for information, for you to understand, you know, being able to go to therapy, have a little bit of idea of what type of techniques and what models are your person that you paying this money to. What models are they using? How is those models supposed to work for you and affect you in the treatment? Also, also just being able to have some conversation with some of my colleagues who have amazing experiences in this circle of clinicianship, as I would call it, and some of their experience of how they do and what they do, being able to kind of bring some of that and put some of that into play, looking at that as well. So, and right now, what I'm looking at is really developing a foreplan to inform and educate people about the therapeutic process. Um, and it might even help them make a better decision about getting into it. Like I said, I hear things all the time because I talk to people um, about their therapeutic things, therapy, issues, and things like that. And I don't say, oh, come to my office, or oh, hey, make an appointment. I do a lot of a lot, probably more than I don't like. People say I do a lot more than I should be doing. Um, but I think that this this development of what I blessing I got to be a clinician, um, what what I've learned, I think is majorly important to share with other people. Not only important to share with them, but to help them be able to make a very clear decision on what to do. I know that normally you hear people come and say, "Oh, come listen to this workshop. You're going to be able to make money and this and oh, we're going to show you how to do this and I'm not a salesperson at all. I don't know how to really sell. I know how to suggest that you might be interested in something, maybe trying something, but I don't know how to sell. I'm not a salesman. I'm a clinician. Look, I'm a mentor, so I know how to mentor. I'm an educator. I know how to educate, and I'm a therapist. I know how to facilitate therapy and help facilitate people in their idea of decision of change that they might want to make, or understanding of change, or understanding how to start change, or how you look at what is needed, or even understanding that there is no need for change. So there is so many different dynamics of what it may be in when we're looking at this. But this idea of black marriage and family is focused, for anybody, but has a more pin laser, laser, laser view of black people in America, because I think that they have an added um, construction sometimes in working in most issues that other people may have. And again, I'm not here to debate people about what I think or what I don't know or what I think I know. I'm just basing it on the experience and the time I've been doing therapy, and I've been in people's homes, in clinics, doing therapeutic work, working as an educator, working with kids in different factions.
Are you there?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, brother? I'm just
Hey, how are you doing?
all right, good. I'm just let me wrap this thing up and then I'll bring you right in here. I've been
Okay,
I've
no
been
problem.
doing I've been doing that for since 1990. Well, let's say 2003. I'll say 2003. I started being a therapist, and so that's 2003. I've been a therapist. So really, you weigh it out is 2025. So well over, well over 20 years of being a therapist, doing therapeutic work in the community. So I'm not here to like say listen to me or don't listen to me. I'm just going to share my experience. But I see the brother that my brother, my friend, uh, he's here, and so I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and we're gonna talk a little bit because this is how this show operates. It's not like, oh, we come in here, we're looking for problems or issues. We're looking for solutions. And he called me on the phone. He said, "Bruh, what do you think about this?" And I said, well, I started talking. I said, I'm sitting here talking to you for a long time, man. Let me go ahead and do this. Why don't you come on and we can have that same conversation on the platform, and we can hash it out. And then now we might even have like you can go back and look at it, like see what you said, and we can also let some people hear what we're talking about. So this is a good brother, good friend of mine. Uh, 100 down, 100 down, 100 down, $100 bills down. Let me say that. $100 bills down, brother Marquise Curry. Uh, brother Marquise, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got popping? What's on your mind today that you wanted to kind of like throw it in? And because I was looking here at the floor plan, but give me a little overview of what you're saying. I got some questions about what you sent over to me.
Well, I was talking with you, Ron, and I was just a lot of things been running through my mind for the last 6 months, and then after I've been on this 90-day quest of called monk mode or ghost mode, how most people go through it. So I've been renewing my mind and flushing out some things, and then I remember back when you first started the Fatherhood Initiative, which is now it's called the Fatherhood Initiative, and I was just thinking about how can we best implement this that we can grow fathers back because this seems to be the biggest problem that is going on in America. Let's say that America, because that's where we live. But I really wanted to tell it to our community, not being slighting any other ethnic group or anything like that, but basically our community in raising up fathers, because this is definitely missing in the home today. Me being a father, you being a father, and then you know of other fathers that are going on. And there's a lot of different things that are going on. So I said, okay, let me try and put together a program. Because I've been out of the education system now for about 20 years, but I started in the education system. And you've been in the education system, and of course you've gone on to,
We've been in education the same amount of time.
right.
When did you graduated?
I graduated in 96.
So
96
it's 96,
from
and
the,
I ended up leaving at
right,
90, 98, 99. So
right.
we've been basically we was educated at the same place through
Right,
education.
right,
So
right,
you can go
right.
get the
We're
full
in
picture.
education. Exactly. So so but I've been in business now in private industry, and I'm also working with the federal, with the government as far as in my local community and everything like that. And I just see so much going on that our program can be benefit. I know we have these programs that we deal with our local fraternities and things like that, and different things that are going on in churches and stuff like that. But I don't never see the real impact. It's like always a separation of it, whether it be education or this person, the street person, that person, X, Y, Z. So I said, okay, let me put together something that will actually like a workbook or something that is still in the phases and stuff like that of working. So I said, but let me reach out. Let me reach out to some resources that going on, and I thought it not robbery to call you, my brother.
Well, I'll say that this what you're doing right now, and I think that is so important is especially right now in this time that we're facing so much uncertainty, right? That you
Mm-hmm.
could be spending your time. This is what I'm saying that people don't get to see this and don't know that there are people who are living every day thinking of how I can not just better myself, but better my community around me. And how can I, because as a restaurant tour that you have been, you see multiple people come in and out of that business. When you was an
Right.
educator,
And
you
I've
see
hired, and
many
I've
students.
hired multiple, especially black males. You know what I mean?
So when you're looking at that, you have an experience, and this is what I tell people all the time: to have an experience of what people experience. Right? A lot of people talk
Uh-huh.
from what they think, how they feel, this and
Right.
that, and what they. But when you in the trenches with a person, when you sitting there, you working with them, you're around them, and you hearing their ups, their downs, what's troubling them, how they operate, how they not, you start saying, I wish I had a way to help them. And again, the ingenuity is where you're working on this system and the program that you're working on now is the
Exactly.
ingenuity, the idea that hey, I've been with these people, so let me see if I find a way to help out.
Exactly. Exactly. And like I said, I have to start with myself first because I experienced it. I have three children. They're all adults now. I got one. left in college now. He's still in college, and I go through these type of things. You know, I go through bouts of depression, bouts of things. I have to see a therapist about certain things. I have to talk about certain things. I confide in certain brothers that have children that are older, and that they've been through these things that we always say. You know, in order to go through a minefield, you have to follow. I'd rather follow someone or know where that than trying to go through that by myself and just self destruct, or as the young folks said, not just crash out. So
Yeah, right, right.
I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So I said, how can I best help somebody? So like I said, I'm putting together a little workbook slash seminar or whatever that can go on. But like I said, I wanted to confide in somebody that has more expertise than me. I mean, I'll do all the groundwork, and I'm doing all the groundwork now, but it's just amazing that I was able to contact you right now, my brother, and you were going live now. So I'm just glad to be
Yeah.
here.
Well, listen. I say this all the time. I say this all the time, Keith. The Lord know what He be doing. Because I was just sitting here saying to myself before I went live, I said, everybody, I see all the team, all the power members. They said they had lunch. They got one person at the White House. Another person say they out at dinner. Other person at the school board meeting. They all the places that in. I said, now I got to be on this thing and talk to myself, and then I'm gonna be doing what I don't like to do, talk to myself, because I think that's very egotistical to be talking to people, talking by yourself, when you can have a communication conversation with somebody who have experiences, who have mindset, who have all the things, and then we're talking about something that's important that we thinking about really establishing to help people in the community. And that's what this is all about: helping our brothers, helping our sisters, helping our black families in the community. Black marriage and family is what we should really be focusing on to save our community. We think that we're going to do something magical to save us. Yo, you know what saved our ancestors? Being a black
Right,
married couple and a family
right,
saved them.
right. I
So
always say, man. I mean, cut you off. I always say
no,
that we do a lot of tongue wrestling instead of just grassroots approach to things, and then it goes from generation to generation, and now then it's this, that, and the third, and it's like the young folks say, whoop the whoop, whoop the whoop, whoop the whoop. So I mean, I really need to do something now that really impacts something. Like as we move into the latter stages of our life, that we're past 50 now, so it's time to start doing some things that really impact it before we get to that stage where we have regrets. And I don't want to have no
well,
regrets.
what you're saying is, and I think this is important. This is a therapeutic psychological statement. When we get to a certain age, we start thinking about integrity or despair.
Mm-hmm,
And if we don't have things that we did that we have any integrity about, we will
mm-hmm,
start living the later parts of our life with despair about what did I leave anybody? What legacy do I have? What did I ever
mm-hmm.
teach anybody? You can be sitting on $60,000 million
Right.
and not be happy at all, because what did you do and how have you helped anybody in any of that way? So
What's the
definitely,
impact?
yeah,
Yeah. What was the
I
impact? Right.
hear that.
Yeah. What was the
So
What was the impact?
that's a
How did it happen? And I want to have an
so what
impact
I
early
think.
instead of later. Yeah, I want to have an impact
So when I
earlier
look
instead of
at this,
later.
I see that a lot of it is right, right. Well, I mean, you listen, bro. Another part I have to remind myself, my young students at my school be telling me, man, you old, you old, you old, you old, you like my granddaddy age, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And I tell them, listen, you just think this old. It ain't old, because I still got a dad that's walking around, and a mom that's walking around. So I ain't that
Exactly.
old, bro. You know,
Right.
I ain't as old as
Right.
you think I am.
Right.
And at some point, a couple of years ago, I still had grandparents. So it's
Exactly.
not, you
Exactly.
don't really be that old in that case. But the thing that really is saying is, and I hear you saying, is being able to lay some groundwork to leave something for the next generations, or even for people who are working with their kids and this next generation to do. And I'll give you a great example. So when I was, and this might help you to understand. So when I was doing fatherhood in Fort Lauderdale, um,
Mm-hmm.
I started doing Fort Lauderdale from out of doing domestic violence, power and control work.
Yeah, I
So
remember
the
that.
work that I
Mm-hmm.
right, so it was it didn't I just I fell into fatherhood from coming doing presentations all around the county. At one point, I was being touted as the domestic violence guru, even though they didn't know what I looked like. They didn't
Exactly.
I was the domestic violence guru, and they didn't know who it was because I had a good assistant who worked with me. She would call, and they'd be thinking she was gonna come and do everything, and I'd be knocking at doors. They'd be like, "Sir, what do you need here? This is some other," and I'd be like, "Yo, I'm the presenter." And I
Yeah, I
can think of
remember
so
that.
many times I would do presentations and people had a frowny face initially, but when the presentation was over, they was like, "When can you come back?" And so
Exactly.
you build on that, and so that's how I ended up falling into the fatherhood thing, doing a presentation for um, the fathers at Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, and then I became in love with that program. Next thing I knew, I had started doing nothing but that program. So it became a labor of love, and it became important because at that time it was initially when I was having a child, so it all worked
Exactly.
simultaneously, and
Mm-hmm.
and simultaneously. And I give you a great example. My own father went through the same program I was running. Now, that is
Wow.
a testimony experience that I can give the people that my father
Right.
had another child, a younger child, and then he ended up going through that program. And sometimes I don't think people can think about here's a man who already had me and my sister, what 8 months apart, and I have a younger sister, 30 in her 30s. And so the three
Mm-hmm.
of us, and then he had, another son later on in life, a young buck, how
Right.
men can do it.
Right.
And he realized that he needed to maybe get the skills, have the unity, and have the support to be able to work in an atmosphere of uh, being a different father than the father he was to us.
Exactly.
And I think that's when I look at what your program and how you're thinking about putting together is presenting some kind of workshop, some kind of pamphlet workbook to people and fathers who can say, "Hey, I'm looking for a way to be different than I've been in the past."
Right.
Um, you know,
I mean, you're welcome to share some of the parts of it if you want to that I sent you, and because I want them to be able to go away from something with something living and breathing in their hands instead of just talk on the corner, talk on the thing like that. Now we can have the corner talk, but you can have something when it's written down and you can visually see, oh, this is the path I'm supposed to be on. Here's some of my limiting beliefs, or here's some of the things that happen to me. Or if you do have kids, how can I reach back out to them if I haven't been that father or dad or whatever you want to call it, absentee or whatever you want? How can I reach back out to them and either just ask for forgiveness or ask, can I be in your life? I don't want nothing from you. I want to try to add to you before we retire off this earth. You know what I'm saying? Or, just making some ends better. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's more important because, we can kick the bobo with everybody on the corner and this, that, and the third, talk about all the dreams and stuff like this. But I'd rather you live the dream for real and live the nightmare that you've been in. You know what I mean? If I can say it for lack of a better term.
Right. But Marquise, because sometimes we are able, our lives have changed, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're able to present a different version of yourself to your kids, even to their mothers, right?
Right.
So that's another point I'm saying is, I'm listen. I'm gonna be a little transparent. Last night, you didn't make the call. We had our 30th call
Yes.
chatting about
Yes.
stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's my time. I guess I can give you an update. But we was having a
Right.
conversation about a trip that we could take, right? We could take a
Mm-hmm.
trip, and
Excuse me.
say who, but one of our line brothers was saying, "Oh, we can go to the Dominican Republic. We can go to Ghana. We was going to places, and he was naming places that that they all sound nice. They all sound good. But to me, I was thinking of, well, the bruh gonna go and be able to go. And I'm thinking as a therapist, I'm thinking as a family therapist, I'm thinking about kind of things that I face every day with families and children and their moms and their dads. And I said, well, I said to him, so some of these brothers can't just tell their wife they're going to go to the Dominican Republic and go hang out with the bros for our 30th. They
Right.
can't tell them. Oh, why they can't tell them? Because brother, what I'm trying to explain to you is sometimes families operate in a different families who operate in certain ways
Yes.
don't just tell their
Yes.
partners, I'm going to just do this. And because we talking about money, we talking about have you took your significant other on a trip, but you about to go take a trip?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and the money that you're gonna take to go do that, and the idea was, oh well, it gonna cost more money if we have to take our significant other, I take our children, whatever. But I was then explaining to him that look, at this point of our life, everything we should be doing is a lot more family oriented.
Right.
You know,
Because we're in yeah, we're in
like
this stage right now. Right. Right.
right, a
Right.
decision to make, a decision of making like, oh, do we go to the homecoming parties and hang out and do this, or do we gather our families and go somewhere and have a big family line dinner somewhere on Saturday night
Right.
instead of being
Right.
good club, popping
Right.
around doing absolutely nothing, wasting our time and not
Right.
getting to know each other, not getting to
Right.
know our family generations. Because you know that the way the world is so small, the 7 degrees of separation is almost three. And how horrible would it be if you're sitting somewhere and you're sitting right next to your line, brother, son, and you don't even know it because you never spent
Exactly.
time, and that can happen. We don't believe
It
it
does
can
happen.
happen.
I mean, I see it right here
So
in the business right
that's a
here. I see it
mindset kind of
right
thing, as I say.
here. Yeah. Yeah. I see it right here in the business right here. I mean, people coming here like, oh, I didn't know that because we have communal seating. So then they end up sitting in there like, are you such and such? Who- And then all of a sudden, then they'll come back up to the counter like, I didn't know this was my cousin sitting here right here. And this is white, black, Jew, or Gentile. It don't matter. You know what I mean? So I know exactly what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
like I said, so I mean, uh, so like I said, if you want to give them a little preview of it, this is next phase of it. If you want to do that, if
Well,
not, we'll hold it
I
to the
will.
club.
What I do want to do is just talk about a couple things that stuck out to me.
Uh huh.
That was important. Like I see uh, habits, routines, and triggers.
Uh huh.
So this is so vital to change, right?
Uh huh. Uh
Our
huh.
habits, our routines, and our triggers. What I
Right.
find many times for us as men, and so men then relating it to be fathers, sometimes have a problem with what our habits are, the routines that we're used to and get comfortable with, and we want to continue to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then how when it don't go the way we want, that triggers us.
Right.
Now, I'm
Right.
not saying that exclusively because we know very clearly that our counterparts, our partners,
Uh-huh.
our wives, our significant others have some of the same stuff. One of the big things that I find that a lot of women have, very few, even when the ones who think they frugal, they have a habit of spending. They will
Right.
say, "Oh, I don't spend," but they spend,
Yes.
right? And it's
Uh-huh.
almost one of the things where it becomes routine.
Right.
It's routine. I'm going to the store every day.
Yeah.
You
It's a
know,
habit. It's a habit,
it
right?
becomes this habit, and then it can trigger us because sometimes they look to us and they put their hand out and say, "Give me some money. I gotta go to the grocery store." You ain't gonna go to the
Right.
store today.
Right.
It just
And then also you have those like you said, if you look at some of the other parts, you have some limiting beliefs. You know what I'm saying? You know, this, that, and the third. I mean, sometimes they can look at your significant other can look at you as like, well, I didn't. They might not have had the father or the dad, but now you're in their life and stuff like that, and then they look at you through the eyes of their parent. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. So
right.
there's a lot of it's a lot of renewing of the mind. How you shift that mindset. You know, a noted Dr. Carol Dweck, talking about fixed mindset and growth mindset. And I've been on that a whole lot for the last 6 to 8 months. Whatever fixed mindset, and it's not saying that you shouldn't have a fixed mindset, but you should have some parts of your mindset a fixed mindset, but you should still be in a growth mindset. There's going to be something that you
Right.
stand on.
That,
You stand on. You're not going to leave that. But
right.
here's
That,
something that you need to be growing. You need to be
right.
growing. You can't stay. You can't stay in 1950 forever thought process. I'm just using that as a term. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
You can't
mean,
be.
but you also bring up a very valid point when we're looking at in relationships and families, the idea that the way it's been going, been fine. So why should it change?
Right.
As if I'm not interested in looking at any other ways because if it ain't broke, it don't need to be fixed. And
Right.
the problem with that idea and that mindset is because you don't think it's broke, you don't even recognize that it's breaking.
Right.
It'd be like I'll tell you a great example. It'd be like the building in the Dominican Republic. And if you watch the news, there was a building in the Dominican Republic, a nightclub.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
whole thing collapsed. Right? And I thought about that the people was going, those people in that nightclub was going in there all the time. The owners opened the doors all the time. You mean to
Right.
tell me at no point did anybody think and look around and say, is cracks in the wall? Is this going on?
Exactly.
No, they said it's building good.
Right. Business as usual. Fixed mindset. Business as usual. We don't have no safety protocols. No, let's checking this. No, this is where we are. And then all of a sudden, when the bottom falls out, boom, boom, boom. Hey, why did that happen? Where did that come from? Oh, I don't know. You got to have some checklists and things like this. I'm not saying you got to be so OCD, but you should still have some things in place that, okay, dang, man, yeah, I missed the light bill this month. I'm just this it happened to me. I missed it. This person called it. Oh, my finance is not in order. Some of this stuff is not other people. It's our mindset. Mindset. And once we can work on that mindset, man, we can go. Man, we could be there, man. Late Malcolm X said, "You don't stand for anything. You don't stand for something. You'll fall for anything." He was basically talking about your mindset.
And I think that goes into, I think right here you have the part of that where you're talking about understanding mindset. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
this is something that I find very often in when I'm first initiating therapy with clients is them understanding their mindset because
Mm-hmm.
they're a lot of times and again it's much harder to set that mindset with
Mm-hmm.
what's harder to set the mindset with one individual client by himself versus having like a couple or a family? Because
Uh-huh.
their mindset will there's nobody to challenge it. There's nobody to
Right.
say, well, the way you're looking at it. And as a therapist, you don't want to be in conflict all the time with your client saying,
Right.
well, that's not that. But sometimes you do, and you have to know how to do it. And I tell people one of the ways that I learned to do it is learning the real direct questions that are
To
so
ask.
open.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Person
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get offended by them,
Mm-hmm.
but they're questions that really challenge what they're saying, and it makes good. And so they will be able to at some point hear the questions, and they have to think about the answer. And if they think
Mm-hmm.
about it, if the line is calculated, they got a real sense. They be, oh, I can see that, but they also can say, I can see that, but this is the way I want it to be. At least
Mm-hmm. It's like
that's part of accepting that they have a mindset and they know what their mindset is, not that they just going along with what they should have to be doing, how things should be being done.
right. It's like one part in the workbook that I'm going to have in there is one part of the thing is if a person was to follow you around for 7 days, what are some of the things that they would take from you? Whether take from you to better themselves or something that wouldn't that that would not be, sightly. So I did myself, and it's going to be in the workbook. It, myself, I was like, okay, I'm this person. I'm very structured. I'm very this, that, and that. But the other part was when I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was like, you are emotional. You carry too much stuff in yourself. So I was like, wow, that's important. So, like I said, in the workbook, it would be like, okay, if somebody was to follow you around for 7 days, what would they gain or not gain from you? So,
Yo, Marquise,
huh?
do you listen? Just that. See that question you just asked?
Yes.
That's a question that makes us have to think. And when we're thinking about certain things, that means that we're beginning to self-reflect. We're beginning
Right.
to be
Yeah.
self-aware of who we are. That the perfect kind of question. If someone was going to be around you, you said for 7 days, what would they
Right.
learn? What's seven things they will learn each day about you? That means
Right.
now that kind of question puts in a question to saying, hey, I can't just come up with one answer. And then I got to think inside myself what I'm offering to people. What am I giving to them? And what's the real thing? Because I've asked people questions like, what is your partner getting from you? What thing do you feel that they need? And the person will say these very introspective things that really are not for the partner. It's really for them.
Right. Yeah, but actually, here's actually the. It's called a reflection prompt. If someone followed me for 7 days, 7 straight days, what would they pick up from me spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally? That's
Oh,
actually the
okay,
question.
okay.
Right. That's actually the question. That's going to be a part of the workbook that's coming out.
Now that is a that's a that listen and I can hear it. I can hear people right now. If they and and I think that one of the big parts that I see in the work here that you're doing, you developing is that we have to at the beginning you really have to start with some identities and descriptions of who they are, um,
Right.
because who your identity, who your intentions is. Also, I see this, looking at the God vision, your old story, who are you becoming,
Right.
in those contexts will say how much uh, emotional honesty you would provide in those answers.
Right.
how much emotional intelligence will you, how much emotional integrity will you use to answer these questions? Because a lot of times people will say things and they're not being transparent, they're not being forthcoming, they're not being really honest with themselves. They're just
Right.
telling you an answer that they know that they want, that you might want to hear, that will be
But,
good for saying, oh,
exactly. But the thing about it is, it's a workbook. So this is your particular workbook. So if you put some stuff in there, I'm not going to read your workbook. I want you to read your workbook. So you'll have spaces in there and things in there that going to be what you need to put in there for yourself to move forward. See, it's not a workbook that or a course per se to be able to judge you. I'm just presenting what has happened in my life as a testimony to you, so that now you can open up and see yourself in what you're writing down. Because I believe firmly that when you put pen to paper and you start to write down some things, like they did a study from Harvard a while back that people that wrote down their goals, those you might can better help me with that. Wrote down their goals, they were better able to achieve those goals than the people that did not write down anything.
absolutely.
Right.
The
So
idea that old saying that if you have a goal, write it down and put it above your bed in the morning when you wake up.
exactly. So that can be
You'll
the
see
first
that goal.
thing you see. Right. Exactly. And this is what led me to this, and this is why we're on the call right now. That I said, man, I mean, I did some work, man, over coming into the new year. And it's like now I'm just starting to see it now. I'm like, Lord, man, what? Why is it taking so long? But sometimes, man, you got to go through the fire a little bit. You got to, things happen. Like kids are going crazy. I'm crazy. And my grandfather used to always have this quote: "If I'm crazy, and I know I am, what that makes you?"
Mm.
And I'm functioning.
Yeah.
So, so, bruh, listen. I really enjoyed this time with you. I'm glad we're gonna be talking later
Hey,
about this. Yeah.
definitely, man. Hey, it's a blessing that you called as I was just about to go on,
Right,
and I was gonna have to go on here and talk gibberish and gibberish, and that
right. I
you
hope we added some context to you to your
right,
audience.
the Lord, and I listen. It happened by instruction.
Sorry
Yes,
about
the Lord
that.
told you to call my line, brother, because that's His area. I was about to go on air and say, "Hey, let's talk about this on air," because talking about it on air, talking about it on a live, give us a recording of it so we can go back and look at it. People can look at it and you can say, "Hey, you want to get an idea of what I got going and how it's going to be working? Here,
Right,
go back and look at this video. It's on Facebook. You go on Facebook, and that gives me an opportunity to play people to say, see, if you are interested in this, going to hear and join us for the content that's going to be like this and so much more.
right,
Go to the page, go to my page,
right,
um, and like to join Black Marriage and Family. It's on my Facebook page, the Mentor Therapist, uh, uh, and
right,
Mentor Educator Therapist Black Father, a YouTube page. I just go on my regular Facebook page, Ron Osborne Williams, log on, get the notifications, because this is not the last time you'll be hearing
Oh no,
from,
I will
because
definitely
he's
roll this thing out, and I'm gonna roll it out with you in mind. I mean,
right.
uh, we're
And
gonna
see,
be collaborating.
the way I'm pushing it, what I'll do is we can test push it on fathers that's on fatherhood think tank. We got the other Tuesday night fatherhood think tank fathers coming on, having these real conversations,
Right,
um, and advocating for each other. So it's a great opportunity to even push some of that into a live audience of real fathers who are there, who will be able to look at that content and be able to look at that
right,
of your work and be able to give some real some of their feedback, because that panel is dynamite fathers, multiple all types of fathers, single fathers, divorced fathers,
Right.
grandfather fathers, the whole
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
definitely,
I'm looking, yeah.
I'm
I'm
excited.
definitely looking to collaborate with that because I'm gonna push out a YouTube collaboration, and then we can have that collaboration where we go on live together and I just really want us to get together because as a slogan, one time you created a fraternity shirt for us that each one teach one. I think that's what I might name the actual program. It's gonna be mindset, whatever, renewing the mindset, but in the each one teach one phase,
Right.
and then we can collaborate on that because I'm gonna have a YouTube thing coming out. I'm gonna have, you know, merch or whatever we want to call it. However we want to grow from this, I really want this to be a movement. And I think given this day and time with technology and everything like this, we'll be able to reach the masses, my brother.
Hey, bro, definitely, I got you, and I'm here, I'm a resource for this. And guess what?
Yeah,
It ain't out of the wheelhouse of what I do, so it's much more easier
exactly.
to work.
Exactly.
That's why
Right.
people come to me with stuff that's outside of what I'm interested in. Oh yeah, can we get a yeah? But that ain't really what I'm.
Right. I
I
know this is up your
listen.
alley. Mhm.
Right. This definitely up the alley. This definitely something that will be for the empowerment and the development of black men and fathers that then
Right.
ultimately will have a benefit for their families, their significant others, and their children. That's what I'm looking at
Exactly.
all times.
And this could be a movement. I mean, it could spread to all ethnic groups if even
Well,
though we're
and
focusing
again,
on. Mhm.
I think that's the big part of it that I like to say all the time is I know that most of the time I'm speaking in reference to black fathers, but that don't mean I dismiss any other kind of fathers.
Exactly.
One of the key things that I'm focused on is I talk about black fathers because I am, and I
Yeah,
know
exactly.
black fathers. And so I always welcome any kind of father because we've had multiple kind of fathers, especially in the program for a lot of. We had all kinds of white fathers,
Exactly.
Latino fathers, different
Because
ethnicities.
fathers go through the same thing. Father is the father if they want to try to be what they are called to be. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. They
Hmm.
might just have some different. They might have some different ways of going about and doing it, but being a
Right.
father is universal. Most of the time.
Right. And so, like you said, we're not shutting anybody out, but we're gonna definitely our focus is our community, but that's what needs to be built as
There
far
will
as
be
we're
no
concerned.
exclusion.
No,
There
exactly.
is
There
no
it is.
exclusion. That's
Right.
that's what you want to say. No
Right.
exclusion.
Right. Okay, my brother, I'm gonna see if I can get out here and
Hey
do a little
man,
bit of
hey
work.
Marquise, man, thank you for sharing this stuff with us tonight. I'm so glad that you was able to call me and we was able to do this and chop it up. And man, I can't wait to start working on you with this, man. And
Absolutely, my
hey,
brother.
I
I
can't wait
appreciate
till
you
we
for
get,
allowing me on your show, man, and I hope
nah, it ain't.
everybody.
Listen, man, it ain't my show. It's our show.
Okay.
It ain't my show. It's our show.
Okay.
I just
Okay, my brother.
facilitate it. Anybody who
Okay.
got a platform for something that's benefiting our people, hey man, come on and knock it off.
Right.
Long as you ain't like your homeboy, trying to tighten things up, talking
Right.
about cash apps and all this. Listen,
Right.
people shouldn't have to pay for the knowledge that we got blessed to give them.
Right.
That's what I believe. I just believe that. Now we got,
Okay.
if I got knowledge because I was blessed
Right.
to get this knowledge. And a part
Right.
of the mission of your life is to share the knowledge that you get.
Right.
Because if you don't, it's just gonna go with you to the grave.
Right. But like you said, if you want to bless us, then that's fine. But other than that, it's about giving out the knowledge. Okay, my brother, I'm gonna sign off. Appreciate you. Give me a
Okay,
call later,
bro.
brother.
Hey, man, thank you
All
for
right.
coming on, and I'll see you soon, brother.
All right, man. I love you. Mhm.
All right, love you too, man. Okay, folks, that was Mr. Marquise Curry, um, educator, a restaurateur, if that I'm saying that correct, a restaurant, a big restaurant, and let me just give an advertisement, big restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. Um, Tom Jenkins Barbecue, right there on A1A and down from, like I think I'm on Davie Road and A1A is where it's at. Davie Road and A1A. I think so. I'm not that good with some of the streets, but I know where it is exactly in my head. I can ride there, right? Five is really about 5 minutes away from the courthouse, school board building. I know that for sure. Across the street from Pizza Hut, car washes on the corner. So Tom Jenkins, you can look it up. You got a phone, look it up. Go out there, get you some good Tom Jenkins. I've had so much of Tom Jenkins, and I have to thank my LB, but definitely always coming through when I had to provide dinners and meals and food, even for my program at Father Think Tank. We need to have a big dinner. He sponsored that many times before, so I'm so blessed to always advertise the work and the things we have for our community and what we have. So tonight, this was a blessing. I was going to have to come on. Everybody has something to do. Everybody somewhere else. Tylon just hit me. He having computer problems. Uh, Fawn is at the school board meeting. Z is out at dinner, and we might even have got Frenchie. And that's wild. But she was at the White House. So that I'll just give this to you that you see the quality of the friends and the colleagues that I have that will be coming to this platform to really talk about this key thing, Black marriage and family that we have, and that's so important for not just for us as individuals, but for us as a community. Because I believe so strongly that um, my mission has become to how do I help my people? What do I do to help them? Well, I went and got education. I went and became an educator. I went and became a therapist, and I spent a lot of my time doing education and therapy, doing mentorship. And then people say, well, okay, now go out and get a job, get money. But money was never the goal and never the purpose of what I wanted to do. I wanted to see a difference in what I seen around me. I wanted to make a difference to our community. I wanted to make a difference for myself. It's not exclusively I'm out here being bleeding heart and I'm doing everything for everybody. Also, some of these things come back to benefit you. Just like we believe that karma it can be a negative, that you what you do is what you get. If that's the case, I'm ready to get my karma always, and I believe I get it all the time with the kind of blessing I got tonight. I didn't know who I was going. I was going to have to sit here and talk by myself. Sure as day, Marquise called me on the phone and said, "Bro, I need to ask you something." And text me, "I need to ask you a question about fatherhood initiative and what you think about it." And I said, "Call me and we can talk." I was just about to push the button to come on, and next thing I know, he was right there saying, "I said, Marquise, stop. Let's stop having this conversation. Come on, let's talk about what your program is, the thing you're talking about, how we're going to operate it." And I'm going to be helping him work on that because that's something that's going to be better beneficial. And guess what? That's my line brother. He needs the resource I have because he's always supported me. He supported me, and that's how it should work in our community. He supported me. Maybe not. Maybe he supported me financially. He supported me fulfilling me with food. He supported me with just the support to say, "Bruh, you doing good work. You doing what you're doing. Keep up the good work." And that's what we need more of in our families, in our communities, and our friends. And that's something I want people to know that this is the new show that I have, Black Marriage and Family, Like, share, subscribe. You can watch it on my YouTube page, um, the Mentor, Educator, Therapist, and Black Father, or you can watch it just on my Facebook page, uh, Ron Christopher Osborne Williams. And we will be having it every Thursday. It is somewhat of a counterpart to Tuesday night Fatherhood Think Tank. Um, Even though Fatherhood Think Tank is mainly really about supporting and really building a knowledge for fathers to come to have a place that's safe to talk about ideas about being better fathers, being better men, and that this then comes to the whole family aspect. So it gives us an opportunity to really develop and put things in play. And I'm so happy to be back on the horse. I've been off the horse for, like, I don't even know how long I've been off the horse, but it hurt me so many times that I would watch some of these content shows being created, things happening, and it'd be like, yo, these people tearing each other apart, tearing each other down, saying that women is this and men is this, and we talking about all the negative attributes of who and what we are. Where is the positive content that talks about how we can make it, how we can be more powerful, how we can be more unified, how it is okay for us to be different because we want to be together, we want to be strong, we will do it. And I know that because I see people every day. I see young people I work with. Oh, I can't do this. I don't want to do it. And I put the thing. Oh, let's put this Fortnite on. Oh, I know how to fix listen. They know how to fix the computer. They know how to fix the TV. They know how to set all of it up. And so I say, hey, where was that same ingenuity? Where was that same enthusiasm when I was saying, let's do these fractions? This what I'm this is where we are, this is where we're going. And I just wanted to be able to bring that out. I know we started late, but we're gonna end on time. As I'm looking, it looks like it's 6:26. I don't know if who's watching have any questions on any of the platforms. If you put your questions in the chat, put your questions on the live. I will definitely try to answer some of that and let you know some of the things that's really going down. Anything you might want to know. Um, but you know what? I have a question that maybe people can write and maybe tell me what they think about this. Today, I got a Facebook message from somebody telling me that they seen my anniversary, 30-year anniversary post, and they was like congratulating me, telling me, whatever. And I got two messages. I'm because I'm gonna talk about. Let me talk about one, and I'm gonna end it with one that's a little bit different. So I looked at the message, and I really have never really had that happen to me. When somebody, sent me these messages. I hear people talk about it all the time. That people sending them messages and things like that. In some case, but I personally haven't really never had somebody send me a message in some sense. So they like send me a message telling me, happy conversity, um, and they told me where they was currently living at. And then I almost deleted the message because when I see stuff like that, it seems like it might be spam. And the next thing, once you respond, then they saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And then you saying, "Good." They say, "What you up to?" And then, "Hey, do you know about this? Do you know about this thing?" I don't know if they still doing that, but I know I got caught in that quite a few times, thinking I was speaking to people that I knew and things of that nature. I mean, even at one point, they was like, "Hey, can you take a call from me?" And they was calling me on Messenger Live. I couldn't hear them, but I could see their face. And then next thing you know, it was like, send me some money or something like that. I was like, man, I don't even know you like that. So luckily, most of the people that I have on Facebook and what have you, I have their actual real numbers. So I can actually call them and say, hey, was you texting me about some money or something? Man, comes on, man, my thing was hacked. And da. So anyway, to get to back to the story before we get up out of here, the guy was telling me that I posted a picture. He was asking me, would I consider taking it down based on some stuff that is going on in our community and things like that. Um, and that would I consider removing the picture it saying that it's my social media post, but he just wanted to come directly to me with his concerns. And he referenced that he knew one of my line brothers, and I read that and I thought to myself, I don't know. Let me call somebody because I'm that kind of person. I'm a counsel person. I believe that you should go to your counsel. You know, if there's something happened, go to the counsel and speak to your counsel. Hey, what's up? Oh, look at that! Look who's here. This is what, brother, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to stop myself because one of the most premier reporters I know out here, Deshaun Farrar, is chimed in. A really good brother, historian, knows so much uh, uh, black factual information and a very good journalist. And I want to thank him for tuning in. And I seen him last night. But when you got somebody like that coming on to listen to you, and I know he's listening with very clear ears for our people. Um, so when he asked me to take it down in this thing, I called my line brother who referenced him because I wanted to say, hey, who is this guy who's asking me to take this down and why they think I should take it down or what have you. And so after I spoke to and then my LB did this, this back channel. He called the guy who was on the phone, and then I asked him well, first let me just tell you, I would just like to know why you think I should, because whatever happened and what's on my Facebook page has nothing to do with what happened. Number one, and it has nothing to do with me. And I'm not going to scrape my history, who I am and what I'm about, because something happens in this world. If that was the case, you almost as a black man, you can't put anything down at any time because it will be interrelated to you advertising something that is going on in our community or something going on, not just in our community, but in the world in general. So I just brushed that off. But I was just so shocked to think that someone would bring something to me. And I asked him, did you read my whole post before you saying it might be offensive, whatever? Because further, you don't know, well, you don't know me, and you're coming to me. You're coming to me. I'll say like this: you're coming to me almost 2000, about 11 years old to me. I'll say that. You're 11 years old. I'm 30 years old. You're 11. It's just like my students. Just to me, it's like one of my students coming to me and saying, Baba, why you wear a hat on your head every day? You shouldn't wear a hat. Because I can't wear a hat. And I say to them, well, Baba wear a hat because Baba head get cold because I'm old. I don't just wear a hat just to wear it. I wear it because my head is cold and I'm old. And that gives a better understanding. That's my experience. That I don't want to be sick. I don't want something to happen like that, even though that's not happening. I would have because I got this bald spot. And I have a bald head. I think it's a little corny to have a bald. I can't even tell a lie. I can't even tell a fake lie. I wear a hat because I don't like the bald spot. And even when I got a nice baldy, I still just naturally just wearing a hat, because probably I miss my dreadlocks so much because that used to cover my whole head and things like that. Anyway, beside the point. So I told the brother I wasn't taking it down and it was cool. We can agree to disagree. I said it had nothing to do with me and it's good. So it is what it is. But on the other end of that, I got a message from a young brother that I know for, and I'm going to read what he wrote verbatim because it goes to tell me um, what me and Marquise was talking about is leaving legacy, what your legacy is, how people see you, what they recognize from you. Um, I am a man, so I can get very sensitive within myself. It brought a little bit of watery to my eyes when I read this because it is so important, I think, as men and who we are, that if you had effect on people, to hear them tell you the effect you had based on the model that you may have displayed for them. And so he wrote, "Good morning, Brother Ron. I don't know if you remember me. I'm Bobby, 211 QDD. This is a young brother that when I crossed at Temple University, um, 2011, Temple University QDD, a chapter that I was in graduate school, and I was one of the graduate members who helped reinitiate that chapter into, along with one of my chapter brothers who was a charter member of the reestablishing of that chapter at Temple University when I was in graduate school at Temple University. So, outside of my home chapter, OE, Temple University is like a second chapter to me, QDD. Um, so the brother wrote that, and he said, since it's your Qversity, I felt it appropriate to let you know that I've modeled my overall style, look of Omega from you. And when I heard that, I kind of laughed because, dude, I don't know so many people trying to be style like me, because my style is allegedly so out. Like, I mean, look what I got on right now. I got this safari type shirt that don't match the hat I got on. And I don't even bust it harder. I got on some red kind of pants. Somebody be like, that stuff don't even match, bro. You walking out here, and I got some heavy duty. What I forgot what they call these, not clogs, some heavy duty clogs on. So they match the shirt. I color coordinated at least. And so when he said that, I just laughed. And then he said, you inspired how I view and move through Omega, and want to thank you for being a bridge builder for me. And look, I'm getting a little sensitive right now. I'm only getting sensitive because when you intentionally do things for a reason, and people eventually tell you that, hey, they recognize, and they recognize it, and they model themselves. It makes you feel like your work, what God wanted you to do, what is your mission, is being achieved. And I wrote him back. I said, man, you looking good, and especially if you modeling yourself after me, I know you're looking good. But I'm blessed to have you, to have even been in my life, to even be connected to you in some way. And I feel that way so often, even for the little time that we was together. I mean, the idea that he crossed and we were together for a little bit of time, but the time we was together was sincere and genuine. And I think that's something I think a lot of times people don't establish. And I think that's a big part of how we can reestablish Black family and marriages, through the genuineness. So with that being said, I got to get out of here. I got to go home. But this is our first episode of our new show, Black Marriage and Family. Please like, share, subscribe, share with people. Let them know that there's a show that is about Black marriage and family, and that panel and host are really going to be talking about issues. And if you have issues that you want us to talk about, if you're interested in, you can drop me a message note, drop a note on YouTube on the page, on my page, and I will look at those things, and I will do them. I don't have time to, if you send me something, and if it's centered around Black marriage and family, anything about basically close to the Black family, I will find a way to put it together and get the panel and myself to work on it. That being said, thank you for joining me tonight. Thanks again, Brother Marquise, my brother, for coming on, sharing a new initiative that you're working on that can be beneficial to our people, to our families, and to our fathers. And thanks to everybody who's watching now and who will watch later. I'll see you again either Tuesday night on Fatherhood Think Tank, or I'll see you right back here Thursday night, 7 o'clock for Black Marriage and Family. Good night.